Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Ryan in Singapore. Welcome to our mindfulness practice. It's Christmas here in Singapore. I know it's Christmas Eve over there in the States. It's Christmas morning in Australia, so I hope, I don't, how's your day look, Rachel? How's everybody's day look today? What do you have going on? And are there holiday gatherings that you're going to be attending? Are there encounters that you're going to have with family members that could potentially be difficult? Are there old patterns that you might fall into because of who you're going to be around today? And maybe you've decided not to have holiday gatherings today, or maybe you're just not going to do that. So, what does your day look like? Feel free to write it in the chat. And that's really what today's topic is about. And I guess I wanted to say as well that I have a Christmas gift for you, and that is that as much as a gift that I can give to you through the internet like this, is that I'm in the room where I've been keeping Finn, my new cat. So I've kind of promised everybody that I'm going to show off my cat. I thought today is the right day to do it. I hope he doesn't chew up my wires. And maybe it's a mistake, but I've also brought, I heard Frank scratching at the door, my old cat, and I let him in. And so the two of them are having, they're still relatively new buddies, but having an interactions here, which maybe is appropriate. What's it like when you have new family members, or family members who may be in conflict together with each other? And so I might have to dismiss Finn here. And this today also we're talking about setting healthy boundaries, and maybe that is I may have to let Frank out because he's still the old king of the house, so he's kind of ruling the roost, and Finn's like the newcomer, and so he does get bullied a little bit. Hi, Suleiman. Suleiman says, I'm caregiving for a dear mother. We are supposed to have physical therapists come by so we can keep mom active and strong. Thanks for sharing. Treaty 6 territory and homeland of the Metis. I'm probably sure this is an incorrect pronunciation. Not people know that SK is Saskatchewan. Easy to draw, hard to spell. Thanks for sharing. I don't know. I don't know why I'm American, so, and I lived in Michigan, so Canada's my good friend and neighbor. My brother-in-law lives in Alberta now. I think the conflict between the cats, Métis. Okay, thanks for sharing. I guess that makes sense. It's a French, and the S at the end should be silent. I think there's going to be too much conflict in here. I'm going to have to remove our favorite Zen cat because, goodness, he's not acting. I said a few days ago, Zen is not an adjective, but if it were an adjective, Frank is not acting very Zen right now. I'll bring him over and have him say hello and goodbye before we get going too much here. Here he is. Maybe he looks less grumpy today, and I think that's just because he's active. He's really he's in conflict, purpose. He's really in conflict with Finn. So you're just gonna have to have a little break today here, bud. I'll bring Finn will be showing up soon. I'll probably put up one of my cards here. Finn will show up, but maybe at the end. So stick around and see. Thanks, Christopher. Stick around and you'll get to see my Cornish Rex, my new cat, My cat. It's funny to say that. Really, this is my wife wanted a hypoallergenic cat, so we have Finn the Cornish Rex to fill that bill. And what's really funny is if you think Frank's cute, like Finn, a Cornish Rex and a Ragdoll are like the polar opposites of cats. It's a very different looking cat. So, if you think Frank's cute, maybe you won't think Finn is cute because he looks very, very different. Hi, Christine. I think I think today's topic's a good topic. Hi, Kathy from Colorado. Happy Christmas Eve to all. Yeah, and it is Christmas morning here in Singapore. I'm the first one up. Nice to meet you too, Kathleen. Let's go ahead. I'm having a great time chatting. Yeah, I'm my cat's human. LJ says 12 family members in my home earlier today. Awkward situation due to separation, divorce of an adult child with children. My grandchildren, it was wonderful to see them, but rough. Thanks for sharing. And that is a perfect segue into today's topic. So thanks for sharing. Today's topic is just about that, is about what it's like to be in those difficult family situations. And interestingly, it was 2 days ago, I just came across a little article that features a quote that I've used here in these live events several times, is from Ram Dass, right? If you think you're enlightened, go spend some time with your family. What's that mean? Why? Right? It's because the holidays are this high exposure environment, and you can't help but you can't help but your old wiring starting to show up. Because often when we meet with, and I mean, I recognize, I noticed it too over Thanksgiving when I went back to the States and saw my sister and my cousins. Like, it's just what happens. It doesn't matter what stage in life we are in now, that those old remembered states do start showing up, and there's not so much that you can do about it. Well, okay, there is something you can do about it, and it starts with, of course, awareness of that state and not denying that exists. So what makes family different? Why is family different from, being with colleagues or friends? Well, I mean, first of all, you don't get to choose your family. Not that you get to choose your colleagues, but colleagues is different in that it's a curated environment. Is that, I mean, I know sometimes things can get out of hand at work too, but there's a limit where things have to stay within. That's why we have to have safe for work and not safe for work content. Family stuff is not safe for work content. Lots of crazy stuff can happen with family. So families where many patterns that we have in our that are deep within our bodies are first learned. So it's like looking for approval, defensiveness, shutting down, performing, rescuing, arguing. All of these things, these come up. And it's funny too, as I look at my own family, meaning my current nuclear family, which is me, my spouse, and my children. And I'm trying to notice those times when my kids are trying to approval seek or please me, and think about what those, what's the long-term impact of those patterns, and trying my best to, sometimes, as much as it's nice to be pleased by my child, to recognize that feeling inside of me. Right? To see that, hey, I could potentially be reinforcing this behavior, which may not be positive. And I need to have the awareness to do that, so that I can help my child grow up without seeking approval of others, because they've learned so early on to seek approval from me. So Family is different in that those are those first behaviors that have become, for many of us, hardwired inside, that we can't help but feel these ways around these people, because once we're back in the situation when we were 12, we transport back psychologically into our 12-year-old selves. And that can be that brings up a whole range of issues that we may not have seen for the entire year. So with friends and colleagues, we stay curated. We are the selves that we know we need to be for that role. And again, it's safe for work versus not safe for work behaviors. With friends and with family that we see during the holidays, we often revert to our default settings. We go back, we hit that, whether we like it or not, hit that reset button and end up back in as our old selves. So Kathy says, so much stupid stuff. LJ, congrats on doing your best and having a beautiful day. Thanks, Kathleen, for that. And happy holidays, Natasha. So family is where those first behaviors were learned, right? And many of our patterns. So the fact that we have triggers doesn't mean that we're failing in this. It's proof that we're human with a nervous system that has been conditioned in certain ways to react in certain ways to certain situations and certain people. So, our roles do tend to show up, our old roles, right? So what was I like? He's playing with the thing that I strike the bowl with. Okay, hold on. Oh, this is just the teaser. Here's the curly fur. All right, I'll show you'll see his face. You'll see his face later. Here, I'm taking this so that he can't make noise with it. So our roles could be, I'm the eldest in my family, right? I'm in my former family, I'm the eldest child. So the responsible one, that could be one of your roles. The peacemaker, the black sheep, the golden child, the comedian, the caretaker, the invisible one. Do any of these roles sound familiar to you? I'll give him some. He'll be back. Don't worry. He'll be around, and keeping him active will make sure he comes back later. These roles once protected something important. And I think that's something we need to remember, is that maybe we hate that role. Maybe there's something, some conflict we have within ourselves about this role. But don't forget that this role was important at some point in time, and it helped you psychologically, right? So it's possible to roll out the red carpet for the responsible one, or the peacemaker, or the golden child, or whatever role it is that you needed at that time in your life. Because again, this is the fierce self-compassion, the part of you that was fierce to protect yourself. So, can you be kind to that part of yourself and not be so resistant? So these strategies were important, and they aren't character flaws. I mean, sometimes that's how we see it, is we can't help but look at it as something bad and something that we're not supposed to have. And so I just want you to remember that these were important at some point in time, and now not to be rejected completely, because this is part of you, and it's part of this reactivity is part of your nervous system. It's something that's been hardwired into you from the years of conditioning. And so if it shows up again, can you be welcoming to it? Can you be aware of it instead of trying to push it away? So on the holidays, these systems reactivate and those roles show up automatically. So without trying, sometimes that can feel, really, really difficult. So, and I'm just seeing some people are echoing. Yes, Liz is saying, yes, peacemaker. Yes, says Belinda. Yes, Teresa. Teresa Marie says, oldest. Rachel says, we can be many of those roles at different times. And that's so true. So who we're around sometimes dictates what hat shows up. And what a time to love unconditionally while we walk each other home, says Suleiman. Thanks for sharing that. And that's Kathleen says, it's very important information. And I did go through that this morning. So what we're saying here is validating feelings and helping enjoy the present. And Rachel says that I was never the golden child. That was my brother. And the golden child, the black sheep combined. Thanks everybody for sharing so much. Recently learned about extreme dysfunction in family of origin. Thanks, Teresa, for sharing. So it sounds like this resonates. A lot of this stuff is familiar, and you feel these roles. You know that these roles are here. But no matter the toxicity in my family of origin, my parents loved me unconditionally. And I think that it sometimes, love shows up imperfectly in a lot of different ways. So, and that's it. I think a lot of our, we're trying our best. I think a lot of our family of origins were trying their best too in the ways in the way that they knew how. Maybe today we have access to more information and know in a different way to raise children. Finn's very active. I'm sure you're going to see him in full shortly. So what's a trigger? A trigger is something that it's in the body. It's something that's become hardwired into us. It's this feeling that says this feels familiar and unsafe. So common signs of triggers are a tightness in chest and throat, heat in face, shallow breathing, jaw clenching, fast thoughts, urgency to explain or defend, an urge to leave or to numb out, an urge to escape. So if you can notice it early, right? This is the mindfulness practice at work. If you can notice it early, you have options. So you can start to frame. Sometimes the holidays doesn't just bring us home to the family, it brings us home to the parts that get louder around the family, right? Sometimes the holidays don't just bring us home to the family, they also bring us home to the parts of us that get louder around the family. So, this is sometimes the holidays bring out the inner demons, right? And demons is not like the spooky demon sense. It's shorthand for these inner patterns that drain energy or block our ease. So what we tend to resist sticks. And this is like this is the guest house by Rumi is showing up for me. What we meet with care can change shape. So, can you, again, that's why I love the phrase, that's why I love saying, can you roll out the red carpet? Welcome whatever it is that's here, as difficult as it can be sometimes. So the goal here is not never get triggered. The goal here is it possible to notice it sooner, to recover faster, and to repair when needed? So you're working with your response. Now remember this. This is the important part. You're working with your response today. You're not trying to change the response of someone else or the personality of someone else. So can you remember that the thing that is under our control is ourselves, not others. And we can't control when our high energy pets are running through the room either. So tend to the part first. So this is kind of the practice that we're going to do today. So notice when the protective part shows up, right? Can you notice that? Notice the protective part showing up. Whatever it looks like. It could be anger, it could be shame, it could be fear, it could be resentment, it could be people pleasing, it could be avoiding. What is it that's showing up? Locate it. So step 1, I'll write this in the chat. I know. Is it a Jack Russell? Says April. It is the cat version of a Jack Russell. It's a Cornish Rex. Trigger is what makes me become who or whatever I fought off. Thanks for sharing that. Doing. A protective part is here. So step 1. Step 2. Locate it in the body. Step 3. Ask one clean question. What are you trying to protect? Or what do you need right now? And step 4, you're allowed to be here. I'm listening. And then see if you can offer yourself one slower exhale. And so if this helps, this can help to bring you out of the story more and into the experience. So in the moment for the dinner table, is it possible for you to take a pause, to just pause slightly, one breath before speaking? Soften the jaw, notice the face, what's going on here in the face. See if you can relax. Relax the jaw, relax the tongue, drop the shoulders. Just see if you can intentionally change the physical body. And with that, sometimes that can help. That can be everything that we need to change what it is that we're going to say. And I know, I don't know about you, but sometimes I say to myself, I know a conversation's coming up, or I know there's a difficult conversation I'm going to have, and I'm like, don't say this, right? And then like 50% of the time I say it anyway, right? Even after I've tried to train myself, don't say this, that still shows up, right? And just know that it's like the fact that I tried, the fact that I had that in my mind, I'm like, man, I've already put forward my best effort. So there's no reason to get angry at myself, even when I encounter this perceived failure, because I've already strategized as much as I possibly can. And I've done all the back work. I've been meditating every day. Why is this? Why can I still not interrupt my patterns? Even, I'm working so hard at it. Why does it still happen? It still happens because it's that hardwiring is still there, and it's still so hardwired in that how much awareness do I need to be able to break that habit loop? Rachel says, my pause consists of just one thought. They're entitled to their opinion, and I don't need to convince them that I'm right. Thanks for sharing. I gave up on looking for emotional support where it's unavailable, says Kathy. Thank you. Belinda says, yes, the inner critic. So there are phrases that you can use to buy time, right? And and why do you want to buy time? Is because that can give you the space to do that thing, that take a breath, that intentionally relax the shoulders, intentionally relax the jaw, to try to help yourself calm down and respond rather than react. Let me think about that. That's a good question. I'm not sure. These are all things that you can say to help fill the time, to help buy a little bit of time for you to be able to be in a space of response instead of reaction. You could say, there are some phrases you can say to set more clearer boundaries, firmer boundaries, if that's what you need. I'm not discussing this today. I'm going to step outside for a minute. Or perhaps you're about to perform in your old role. One thing that you can ask is, what would good enough, to yourself, what would good enough look like right now, right? We don't have to be perfect. We can be good enough. So, and remember, repairing is part of the practice. So if you mess up, right? If you do say something that inflames and isn't helpful, that ends up harming yourself and those around you, you can always say, hey, I got reactive. I'm sorry. Let's try that again. So it's a mature holiday skill. It's not perfection, but can have some time to repair. Kathleen says, I'm realizing that hardwire today. It's incredible, and I'm grateful for being aware of these. So keep it up. Keep up the work, and let's do a little bit of practice today. And what I'd like to encourage, and I think I'm gonna just give you a glimpse of my buddy Finn here before we get started, since you've seen the Jack Russell flying around in the background. But today we're going to do a self-compassion practice. So to help be kind to ourselves, I think this is really helpful, to be kind to ourselves and to also be kind to those who are challenging. I find that this is the most useful thing when I'm having conflict, is to do loving kindness for the person who is most triggering for me. Remember, this person is a human being, and this person deserves love and wants to be loved. Right? As difficult as they're being right now, they're doing the same thing that I'm doing. They're doing some kind of self-protection ritual. So here, let's get Finn, the Cornish Rex, over here. I'm like looking up here because he's up on something. All right. The only Christmas gift I can give you besides a Christmas meditation is a glance at Finn. Here he is. With his yellow eye and his blue eye. So it's on, I don't know how you see it, but this is his left eye and his right eye. Yeah. Harlequin eyes. Yeah. Well, that's it, right? Is this unusual? That's what I'm saying. He's really like the polar opposite of Frank. Got this really I don't know, he's like an Egyptian looking face, with curly hair. I don't know if you can see, but his hair is all curly. Cornish Rex is the greyhound of the cat world. I think so. He totally needs a hamster wheel. Let's go ahead and get into our practice. So get comfortable. I mean, of course, I've got a special, like everybody in the family loves Finn wherever he went, because he's the new thing, and he's so energetic, and he's 8 months old, so he's still a kitten, and he's just crazy energy, but I have to admit, It's like I have such a special place in my heart for Frank, even though Frank's way grumpier. But I really, you know, I suppose we can tell my family sometime. I think they know. My heart really goes out to my fluffy, grumpy rag doll. So get comfortable. You can feel free to sit up if that's what you want to do. Maybe today, for loving kindness, you want to lie down. You need a little bit of extra rest. Do whatever is going to support you. Thanks, Elche. Frank's over. Frank's in the other room because he's too grumpy. He's like causing a lot of issues with Finn, and I do feel bad for him that he's out there. But Finn, he has to stay in here just because he's a bit too energetic for me to risk him near my balcony. So anyway, let's get into practice. So the first part of practice is just noticing the breath, noticing the body. What's the state of the body? What's the state of the breath? And practicing coming back to the breath, practicing noticing the feeling of breathing. This is probably the most valuable skill that you can learn in meditation, period. If you've done this enough, when things get hard, you will naturally come back to feeling the breath, and you will be so familiar with your breath that you will know what emotion this breath right now is signaling to you that you're having. So inhaling, renewed energy, renewed life, oxygen coming in. Exhaling, relaxation, letting go, releasing carbon dioxide and the waste products of metabolism. In and out. In and out. So see if you can bring your full attention to what it feels like to be breathing. So keep following the breath. Keep your attention there as best you can. And if you notice that your mind has wandered away, in that moment of noticing, just release whatever it is that distracted you as best that you can and come back to the breath. Focus on the present moment. And can you notice, is your state of mind, is your body changing as you stay focused on the breath? And so let's shift. If you're ready, you can, of course, stay with the breath. Observe how the breath is affecting, or how attention to the breath is affecting you. Perhaps it's allowing for more and more relaxation, and you want to stick with that. That's certainly okay. If you're ready to move on, let's start this loving kindness practice with ourselves. So as best you can, bringing a sense of unconditional love to yourself. Loving yourself exactly as you are in this moment, without any needing to be different or to be better, to change yourself in any way at all. Can you love the person that's here right now? In all of their flaws, and all of the good things about them, as well as their good intentions. Unconditional love means that actions, whatever they may have been, don't matter for this love. That this love is always here, always available to you. Love for yourself just as you are. And maybe it's helpful for you to remember what it felt like to be loved unconditionally by another person. Or maybe even what your love for someone very close to you is like. Sometimes it's easier for us to love our best friend than it is for us to love ourselves. So is it possible for you to accord yourself this kind of unconditional love? A love that someone once offered for you. Or a love that you have learned to offer to someone else, someone who's very close. Can you offer that kind of love to yourself? It's not based on performance. It's something that's always there and just for you, just as you are. And so often conjuring feelings of love can be challenging. So what may be easier for some of us here today is just offering some well wishes to ourselves. So feel free to repeat after me. May I be happy and contented. May I be happy and contented. May I be safe and protected, free from inner and outer harm. May I be safe and protected, free from inner and outer harm. May I be healthy and whole to whatever degree possible. May I be healthy and whole. May I be at peace. May I have ease of well-being. May I be at peace. And so it can be easy to just recite these words, as sounds coming out of our mouths, entering our ears. I'm going to repeat those phrases one more time, but this time, instead of focusing on the words, is it possible for you to focus on the feeling? The feeling of being happy. The feeling of being whole and complete. The feeling of being safe. The feeling of being peaceful. Just recognize what those feel like in the body. May I be happy and contented. May I be safe and protected, free from inner and outer harm. May I be healthy and whole to whatever degree possible for me. May I be at peace. May I be at ease. And so let's take a few moments just to come back to the breath, come back to the present, noticing the state of the mind and the body and the emotions right now. And now I'd like to invite you to bring into mind someone that you may see later today, or someone that you saw earlier. Someone for whom unconditional love may prove to be a bit challenging. So letting that person's image form in your mind. And so this can be very helpful in dealing with anger, dealing with strong emotions. When we notice those triggers coming up, especially when they're around a particular person. As challenging as this can be to do, it's my experience that this helps so much in those difficult times, to remember that this person is a human being just like you. And this person, no matter what their actions are, they want to be happy. And they think that whatever it is that they're doing is going to make them happy. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing it. As difficult as it is for you to understand, they too want to be happy. They too want to feel safe. They too want to be healthy and complete. They too wish for peace. So is it possible to try to reach out with some unconditional love to this challenging person? And what's that feel like, first of all? And just like you, they don't need to be worthy or deserving of it. And it doesn't mean that you're dissolving any boundaries that you've set, any healthy boundaries you've set between yourself and this person, just by right now seeing if you can offer unconditional love to them. And if that's hard, which often it is, can we try to offer some phrases to that person? Some well wishes. May she, he, they be happy and contented. May she, he, or they be safe and protected, free from inner and outer harm. May she, he, or they be healthy, whole, and complete to whatever degree is possible for them. May she, he, or they be peaceful. May they be at ease. And now releasing that image of that person, coming back to ourselves, coming back to this moment, what does that feel like? Maybe you feel more ease. Maybe you feel a lot of resistance. Just noticing what is true for you right now. So continuing to monitor the breath, to monitor the state of the mind and the body, to observe your emotional state, and see if you can use the breath as an anchor. Each breath noticing what it feels like physically, the expansion and contraction of the abdomen, let's just take a few minutes in silence to notice what it feels like to be alive and to be breathing. And let me congratulate you for having made it through today's practice. It's not easy during these times to offer unconditional love to those who are challenging. So, know that this practice is helpful to incline your heart to kindness. and can be so helpful when it comes to you reducing harm to yourself and those around you. So I'll close practice with 3 rings of the bell. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for being here. Thanks for sharing this time with me and with each other. How did it go? What was it like? How do you feel now? Was it challenging? Was it easy? Do you feel more at ease? Do you feel more tension? What's going on? I could feel some tension in there. I could feel a bit of tension in my shoulders. I suppose that was just good to help me to relax, to notice that it was there. I did hear Fen running around a little bit, so hopefully not disturbing your peace too much. He wasn't disturbing mine. Thank you. Thanks, Eddie. Thanks, Edelyn. Thanks, Jeanine. Thank you, Kurt. Especially, it's helpful, especially to know the things I can say to get me more time before I react. Thanks for sharing. Merry Christmas, Edelyn. Happy holidays for everybody, whatever holidays it is that you're celebrating. Thanks, Sophie. It's great to have you here. I hope to see you again. If you haven't followed me on Insight Timer, please do. That's the way that you can help me the most. And sure, I'll just pop up my donation card here too. Rachel says, I fell asleep near the end. I feel very nurtured. And yes, I did feel tension at the start. Thanks for sharing. Kat says, much better. Relief, release, and more supported. Thanks. Merry Christmas. Thank you. Happy holidays. Thanks, Rachel, for your donation. Tea Lady Nat, I did feel tension in the shoulders, but the meditation took it away. And, I always love to say, hey, meditation doesn't always make us feel more calm. Sometimes it makes us feel less calm. So, just want to acknowledge if the meditation made you feel less calm, like that's normal too. Kathleen says, I went through some resistance at first. That experience is surprising and amazing. Thanks for sharing. Rosamond says, very good. I'm spending Christmas Day alone, but I've put in some good work for use on Boxing Day. Thanks so much. Yeah, thanks, Rosamond. Thanks for sharing, and thanks for being here, and thanks for your donation also. So, yeah, it is Christmas here in Singapore, and so I'm probably going to have to get moving to see if there's any little feet pitter-pattering around and waking up and getting going, so I can get everybody up. But I hope you're having a lovely holiday. I will be back on Tuesday my time. That might be Monday for you, to talk about the holiday hangover. And I don't just mean like a physical hangover, but kind of the emotional hangover that may come from the holidays. So feel free to come back. Tune in then if you're interested. And as always, I'm going to post this video. If you missed, and I said, Rachel, I feel like that was like a polite way of saying your cat's ugly, which is totally cool. I just want to say the first time I saw Finn, I was like, because there was a Devon Rex there too. And I'm like, the Devon Rex is cute, but this Cornish Rex is kind of like, whoa, it's like a horse face, But you know what? Whatever he lacks in handsomeness, but he's grown on me. I think he's handsome now, But whatever he lacks in, whatever you may think he lacks in handsomeness, he makes up for in personality. Oh, thanks, Rosamund. Dog's presents wrapped, good deal. Yeah, all the presents are ready to go here, and so enjoy your holidays. Okay, which is cool. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to like call you out or anything on it. I did. I guess maybe what I'm doing is I'm just kind of sharing. I'm I'm using it as my first impression was just kind of like, woo, Cornish Rex is not my wasn't my favorite look, but now I'm like, man, he looks pretty cool. Siamese bone structure. Yeah, he's just this really, he looks like this dignified. I think he looks like this dignified Egyptian cat. Very unique, and especially with the multicolored eyes. So happy holidays, everybody. Merry Christmas. Have a happy, well, I'll see you before the new year if you happen to be on. Again, this video recording, I'm going to do my best to do some quick editing and upload it within 24 hours so that it's available for anybody that missed. Maybe you're having a holiday encounter and you needed a session like this to remind you of how to take care of yourself and the rest of your family. Regalness to him, yes. My favorite cat was named Morrissey because of his expression of intense misery and displeasure. Yeah, those of you who don't know, Morrissey is a band, an act, a person that does have some depressing lyrics. Yes, it will be. For probably about, I hope, 24 hours. It depends on how crazy Christmas is for me. I hope I can get it, some editing and some uploading done, and so it should be there in 24 hours. Take care, everybody. Let us go one more round of well wishes, and then we'll say goodbye. May I be happy and peaceful. May everyone watching, listening, wherever you are, I wish you all happiness and peace. May all sentient life, everyone, everywhere, throughout the universe, even animals, especially animals, may we all be happy and peaceful. Till next time. Bye-bye.